Good morning, this is your Stat Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is a warm-up on doing a confidence interval for a regression from a computer printout. And this is the weed killer. A regression analysis on the relationship between the number of teaspoons of weed killer per gallon of water and the percentage of weeds killed in the field gives the following computer printout. And I'm going to go ahead and mark our important lines so we know constant is our y-intercept line. So that's our y-intercept line. And we never know where it's going to show up, but wherever we see constants, that's our y-intercept line. And the line directly below that is our slope line. We also know that teaspoons is our x, our explanatory variable. So when we go back and look, it says a regression analysis on the relationship between the number of teaspoons of weed killer and the percentage of weeds killed. So we have teaspoons of weed killer. We know that to be our x. And since the relationship is and the percentage of weed kills, because we have an and there, those are what we're looking at, that is our y. Okay, so use the computer printout to find the requested information in the table below and create a 97% confidence interval for the slope of the regression line. I'm going to go ahead and write even though it's a little out of order, the confidence level, write it here 97% because that's already been found. We already know that, so we might as well record it. Okay, so we need B, which is our slope, and our slope is 24.3929. And our SB is 1.204. I'm going to go ahead and drop down and do my formula. And my formula is B plus or minus T star times SB. Well, we have B, we have SB because this is the standard error of the slope. So this is my SB right there. And this is my B. This is my slope. So standard error of the slope and our slope. So we have those two things. The only thing we're missing is our degrees of freedom and our T star. Well, degrees of freedom are actually given to us. And it's going to be always going to be on the residual line. And there it is, 12. And I'm going to go ahead, even though they didn't ask, I'm going to just tell you degrees of freedom is n minus 2. So if it's 12 equals n minus 2, that means we actually had a sample size of 14. Now, we don't need to do that, but our sample size was 14. If it said 14, we would go, oh, it's a 12 there. 14 minus 2 is 12, because that's the degrees of freedom. Here's the thing that we have to be careful about. This asks for T star. Okay, that's what we're looking for in our formula is T star. That is not the T statistic. All right, this is a T stat or T statistic. It is not T star. So to calculate, we have to calculate T star from the calculator. And we go second vars inverse T. Let me see if I can adjust this screen just a little bit. I hope that helped a little bit. Parenthesis, 1 minus, well, what was our confidence level? 97, so 0.97, close parenthesis, divide by 2. And degrees of freedom, we said was 12. And we get 2.4607. And since we're positive people, we're going to make it a positive. And we always turn negatives into positives. So our T star is 2.4607. All right, we're going to go ahead and plug in. So B is our slope. So when we plug in, we're going to have 24.3929. And then we're going to have our plus or minus, because that's what we have here, T star 2.4607. And then we're going to have our SB, which happens to be 1.204. So this is my B, or my slope. This is my T star, and this is my SB, which is standard error of the slope. All right, to do this, I have to get the lower bound and upper bound, I'm going to have to set this into two equations. I always do the minus first, so this is going to be the lower is always the minus, and this will be the positive. So we're going to have 24.3929 minus 2.4607, and this is 1.204. So let's go ahead and plug that into the calculator. 24.3929 minus 2.4607 parenthesis 1.204, close those parentheses, and we end up getting 21.4302. And that's our lower bound. All right. Then we're going to do the upper bound, and we're going to write exactly the same thing, except we're going to change this minus to a plus. So we're going to go 24.3929 plus 2.4607, 1.204. I'm going to go ahead and select that up there, bring it down, and I was just scroll over and change that to a plus. That way I don't have to type it twice, and I can just go ahead and press enter, and I get my upper bound of 27.3555. And that's my upper. And so when I write my interval, my final interval is going to look like 21.4302, comma, 27.3555. And once again, this is my lower bound, which is a negative, and this is my upper bound, which is a positive. All right, I hope that helped on confidence intervals, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.